Some breaking news reaching us from FIFA again, not involving Gianni Infantino, maybe not. Let's find out what it is. It's actually the events at the World Cup. Calvo, you're back with us. What can you tell us?
FIFA have opened disciplinary proceedings against the Argentina Football Association over the behaviour of their players and also their fans at 2 games at the World Cup.
The story took a dramatic turn when FIFA finally put its position into an official document. After months of non-stop debate, criticism, and questions from fans around the world, the conversation moved beyond rumors and opinions. What had been argued across headlines and social media was suddenly backed by formal language that could not be ignored. Throughout the World Cup, many critics believed Argentina was treated differently. They pointed to controversial calls, moments where red cards never appeared, and even a private letter from FIFA praising the team's professionalism, while complaints continued to grow. To those critics, every disputed moment seemed to fade away without serious consequences. That perception has now been challenged by FIFA's own actions. Instead of describing the latest incident as simple unsporting behavior or an unfortunate misunderstanding, the governing body officially referred to assault charges involving players from the Argentine team.
One was the World Cup semi-final between Argentina and England in Atlanta, and the second one was at the World Cup final in New Jersey, New York against Spain.
After months of facing accusations that it had protected Argentina, FIFA placed those allegations into a formal process. Once a case reaches that stage, it becomes far more difficult to dismiss or quietly move on from it. Now the focus shifts to what was officially filed. Why the case could also involve the Argentine Football Association, how it connects to a rivalry stretching back decades, and why many believe this marks a major turning point. The headline alone is enough to grab attention because it is rare to see FIFA use language this direct in an official document. After a week-long investigation led by an independent prosecutor into the incidents following the final, FIFA's disciplinary committee officially opened formal proceedings, and the list of allegations quickly drew attention. Leandro Paredes is facing 3 assault-related charges. Nahuel Molina has been charged with 2 assault-related offences, one alleged to have been completed and one attempted, along with a separate allegation of unsporting behaviour.
Now let's deal with the events first at the England game. You remember at the end of the England game, their players produced a banner about the Falkland Islands, proclaiming that the Falkland Islands belong to Argentina. It was a banner that was taken into the stadium by some of Argentina's supporters. Then at the end of the game, some of the players got hold of the banner, displayed it in front of the Argentina supporters, and also then placed it on the pitch for a good few minutes. I was there, I saw it myself. After a few minutes, that banner was then folded up by the players and given to a member of their backroom staff, and it was taken away with them. I think there's a very good chance if Argentina had won the final that they would have produced that banner again. Anyway, FIFA have now opened disciplinary proceedings against them over that because, of course, it's against FIFA's laws to make any political statements at football games.
Assistant coach Roberto Ayala is also facing an assault-related charge, while Thiago Almada has been charged with unsporting behaviour. In an unexpected development, Spain's Gavi was also charged with unsporting behaviour. Even so, the biggest focus remains on the allegations involving Paredes, Molina, and Ayala, as those are considered the most serious under FIFA's disciplinary process. According to FIFA's disciplinary rules, assault-related offences can carry significant suspensions if the allegations are upheld. The minimum sanction can begin at 3 matches, while more severe penalties may be imposed depending on the findings. If that happens, Argentina could be without several important figures for an extended period. The allegations are tied to moments that were widely shared after the final. FIFA's filing alleges that Paredes struck Spain's Eric Garcia in the throat with an open hand before Garcia fell to the ground.
They've also been looked at for racist abuse, also late kickoff, so turning up late for the game, and also a failure to comply with security protocols, throwing objects as well, displaying inappropriate messages by the team and fans. So that is the England game. Going on to the scenes that we saw during the game against Spain and also after the game against Spain, where there were some disgraceful scenes and behaviour because basically the Argentinian players didn't react very well to losing that World Cup final. FIFA are looking into the behaviour of Leandro Paredes, Nahuel Molina, Thiago Almeida, and also an Argentina coach, Roberto Ayala. And also they're looking into one Spain player, Gavi, for allegations of unsporting behaviour.
It also alleges that Paredes and Almeida pushed Gavi during the confrontation. Molina is accused of allegedly striking Spain captain Rodri as he ran past during the celebrations, while Ayala was filmed appearing to make contact with Dani Olmo in an incident that Ayala later described as a push rather than a strike. The disciplinary process will ultimately determine whether those allegations are proven. The scope of the case is what makes it stand out. FIFA's filing names 3 players and 1 member of the coaching staff, with multiple allegations listed across the group. This is no longer just a debate fueled by fan reactions or social media clips. It is now part of an official disciplinary process, with each allegation set out in formal documents. The potential consequences are also significant. Under FIFA's disciplinary rules, assault-related offences can lead to lengthy suspensions if the allegations are upheld. Paredes is facing 3 separate assault-related charges, while Molina is facing 2, along with an additional allegation of unsporting behaviour. If the disciplinary panel determines the charges are proven, the sanctions could affect a major part of Argentina's upcoming schedule rather than resulting in minor penalties. One detail that has drawn particular attention is the inclusion of assistant coach Roberto Ayala. Cases involving coaching staff are far less common, making his alleged involvement a notable part of the proceedings. Coaches are generally expected to help calm tense situations, so allegations involving a member of the staff naturally attract extra scrutiny during a disciplinary review. Another surprising element is the charge against Spain midfielder Gavi. Although he was involved in the confrontation, he had previously said publicly that he did not believe Argentina's players should face suspensions, describing the incident as part of the emotions that can surface in high-level football. Despite those comments, FIFA also charged him with unsporting behaviour. That detail suggests the investigation examined actions from multiple people rather than focusing on one side alone. Whether the allegations are ultimately upheld remains for the disciplinary process to decide, but the case now carries a level of formality and scrutiny that sets it apart from the earlier debates surrounding the tournament. One of the biggest talking points from the final was the red card that briefly appeared during the on-field confrontation. Broadcast graphics showed Paredes receiving a red card, but it was later removed, and play continued without that dismissal being enforced. For many critics, that moment became a lasting example of what they believed was inconsistent handling during Argentina's tournament. What makes the current situation different is that a formal disciplinary case cannot simply be erased. FIFA has officially announced the proceedings, placing the allegations into the public record. According to FIFA's statement, those accused have been given the opportunity to respond before the disciplinary committee reaches its decision. From this point forward, the process follows established disciplinary procedures, making it far more difficult for the case to fade from public attention. The investigation also goes beyond the players involved in the post-match confrontation. FIFA has opened separate disciplinary proceedings involving the Argentine Football Association, expanding the scope of the review well beyond a single incident after the final. According to FIFA's filing, the federation is being investigated over several alleged breaches across multiple matches during the tournament. The allegations include the use of a sporting event for an alleged non-sporting political demonstration, team misconduct, alleged discriminatory behavior, and failures related to order and security. The case also references reported discriminatory chants and gestures, delayed kickoffs, alleged failures to follow match and security protocols, messages displayed by members of the team and supporters, and objects reportedly thrown by spectators. Each of these allegations will be assessed through FIFA's disciplinary process before any final conclusions or sanctions are determined. Looking at the full list of allegations, the focus extends well beyond a single incident after the final. FIFA's disciplinary proceedings cover several separate matters from different points during the tournament, suggesting that investigators are reviewing a broader pattern of conduct rather than one isolated event. That wider scope is one reason the case has attracted so much attention. A disciplinary case involving a national federation also carries different consequences than one involving individual players. If any allegations are ultimately upheld, potential sanctions could include fines or other disciplinary measures directed at the Argentine Football Association rather than specific members of the team. Just as importantly, the outcome could have a lasting impact on the federation's standing within FIFA's disciplinary records. Among the allegations, those involving reported discrimination and racist abuse are likely to receive particularly close attention. FIFA has repeatedly stated that such matters are treated with the highest level of seriousness under its disciplinary framework. As a result, the Argentine Football Association will need to respond to multiple categories of allegations as the proceedings move forward. Another detail connected to the case involves assistant coach Roberto Ayala. After the incident involving Dani Olmo, Ayala acknowledged the confrontation and expressed regret, while maintaining that the contact was a shove rather than a punch, and suggesting something had been said beforehand. Olmo publicly rejected that explanation, saying he had not provoked the incident and disputing Ayala's account. Those differing versions are now part of the broader disciplinary review. The response from Argentina's camp also became part of the conversation. Assistant coach Roberto Ayala expressed regret over the incident involving Dani Olmo, but he also maintained that the contact was a shove rather than a punch, and suggested there had been words exchanged beforehand. Olmo rejected that explanation, saying he had done nothing to provoke the incident. With disciplinary proceedings now underway, those conflicting accounts will be weighed as part of FIFA's review. Another major issue in the Federation case centers on a banner displayed after Argentina's semi-final victory over England in Atlanta. During the celebrations, several players, including Giovanni Lo Celso and Nicolas Otamendi, held up a banner reading "Las Malvinas son Argentinas," which translates to "The Malvinas are Argentine." Malvinas is the name used in Argentina for the Falkland Islands, a British overseas territory in the South Atlantic that Argentina has long claimed. According to FIFA's regulations, the issue is not centered on the territorial dispute itself, but on rules governing political messages at football events. FIFA's disciplinary code generally prohibits the display of political slogans, symbols, or demonstrations during official matches and related ceremonies. That is why the banner has become part of the federation-level disciplinary proceedings. The sovereignty dispute over the Falkland Islands remains a long-standing and deeply sensitive international issue. The islands have been administered by the United Kingdom since the 1830s, while Argentina continues to claim sovereignty over them. In 1982, the dispute led to a 74-day conflict between the two countries, in which more than 900 people lost their lives, including 649 Argentine military personnel, 255 British military personnel, and 3 civilian islanders. That historical background explains why the subject remains politically significant today and why its appearance during an international football tournament has drawn additional attention under FIFA's rules. The dispute over the Falkland Islands is deeply significant for both Argentina and the United Kingdom, which is one reason the banner quickly became an international story. Once it appeared during the World Cup celebrations, the discussion extended far beyond football and into the political arena. Government officials from different countries responded in very different ways. A spokesperson for the UK Prime Minister reaffirmed the United Kingdom's position that the Falkland Islands are British. In contrast, comments from the head of the White House's World Cup task force defended the players' right to express themselves, referencing principles of free speech. The differing reactions highlighted how quickly a moment on a football pitch became part of a wider political debate. That situation also reflects why FIFA has long maintained rules limiting political messages during official competitions. The governing body's position is that international football events should avoid becoming platforms for political demonstrations, regardless of the viewpoint being expressed. the incident was not without precedent. In 2014, Argentina was fined by FIFA after players displayed a similar banner before a friendly match against Slovenia. Because of that earlier disciplinary action, critics have argued that the federation was already aware of FIFA's regulations on political displays. Whether that previous case influences the current proceedings remains to be seen. But it adds another layer of context as FIFA reviews both the banner incident and the broader disciplinary allegations against the Argentine Football Association. Together, those parallel cases have made this one of the tournament's most closely watched disciplinary matters. Taken together, the scope of these proceedings is remarkable. Following a single World Cup, 3 Argentina players and 1 assistant coach are facing disciplinary charges connected to the post-final confrontation, including several assault-related allegations. At the same time, the Argentine Football Association is the subject of separate proceedings involving alleged political demonstrations, team misconduct, reported discrimination and racist abuse, and security-related issues across multiple matches. Few teams leave a tournament facing such a broad disciplinary review. The timing makes the situation even more striking. Argentina came within 1 goal of retaining the World Cup, a feat that would have made them the first team since Brazil in 1962 to win consecutive titles. Instead of the tournament being remembered only for their run to the final, much of the attention has shifted to the investigations and the disciplinary process that followed. Throughout the competition, some fans and commentators argued that FIFA had shown Argentina favorable treatment. They pointed to controversial officiating decisions, disputed disciplinary moments, and the red card graphic that briefly appeared before disappearing during the final. Those claims remain matters of debate, but they formed a major part of the public discussion surrounding the tournament. The conversation became even more complicated when reports emerged that FIFA President Gianni Infantino had sent Argentina a private letter praising the team's professionalism before the disciplinary proceedings became public. Critics viewed the timing as awkward because FIFA's independent disciplinary process was already moving forward behind the scenes. If the allegations are ultimately upheld, that sequence of events is likely to face even greater scrutiny. At the same time, it is important to note that disciplinary investigations are handled independently, and the final outcome will depend on the committee's findings rather than public opinion or earlier statements. This is not the first time Argentina has faced disciplinary action after a World Cup. Following the 2022 tournament in Qatar, FIFA sanctioned the Argentine Football Association over post-match celebrations, ultimately issuing a financial penalty without suspending any players. That outcome led some critics to argue that the punishments did not match the attention surrounding the case. The current proceedings, however, are different in both scope and visibility. By formally announcing assault-related allegations against multiple individuals and opening a separate case involving the Argentine Football Association, FIFA has placed the matter into a public disciplinary process. Any final decision will now be measured against the organization's own disciplinary rules and the evidence presented during the case. Because the proceedings have been officially published, the outcome is likely to receive intense scrutiny, regardless of the final ruling. If significant sanctions are imposed, some will argue FIFA enforced its regulations consistently. If the penalties are viewed as too lenient, critics will almost certainly continue raising questions about whether the governing body treated Argentina differently. Either way, the committee's decision is expected to become a major talking point. At the same time, it is important to remember that disciplinary charges are allegations, not findings of guilt. FIFA has confirmed that all of those involved will have the opportunity to present their responses before any decision is reached. Paredes, Molina, Ayala, and the Argentine Football Association are each entitled to defend themselves, and the disciplinary panel will determine whether the allegations are upheld, modified, or dismissed based on the evidence before it. One important point should not be overlooked. Opening disciplinary proceedings does not mean the allegations have been proven. FIFA's process gives everyone involved the opportunity to respond before the committee reaches a final decision. That principle applies regardless of how widely an incident has been discussed or how it appeared on camera. It is also notable that Spain's Gavi was charged with unsporting behavior. His inclusion suggests the investigation examined the conduct of multiple participants rather than focusing exclusively on one team. That does not determine the outcome, but it does indicate that FIFA's review extended beyond the actions of Argentina alone. The banner issue also carries a broader human and historical context. For many Argentines, the Malvinas remain closely tied to national identity and the lasting impact of the 1982 conflict. That background helps explain why some players may have viewed displaying the banner as an expression of national sentiment rather than a political stunt. Even so, FIFA's regulations generally prohibit political messages during official competitions, regardless of the motivation behind them. At the same time, allegations involving political displays and allegations involving physical confrontations are different types of disciplinary matters and are assessed under separate sections of FIFA's rules. Ultimately, the central question for many observers is whether FIFA will apply its disciplinary code consistently. Unlike disputed refereeing decisions or moments that quickly disappear from the headlines, these proceedings are now part of the official record. Once the disciplinary committee issues its rulings, those decisions will be closely examined by supporters, critics, and the wider football community as they evaluate how FIFA handled one of the tournament's most closely watched cases. The next chapter now rests with FIFA's disciplinary committee. The organization has officially opened proceedings involving multiple Argentina players, a member of the coaching staff, and the Argentine Football Association. Whatever the final rulings may be, they will become part of the public record and will be closely examined by football fans around the world. If the committee determines that the allegations are proven, the sanctions will inevitably be compared with FIFA's own disciplinary regulations and with previous cases. If some or all of the allegations are dismissed, that decision will also face intense scrutiny. Either way, the outcome is likely to influence how many supporters and critics view FIFA's consistency and credibility going forward. What began as a heated confrontation after the final has grown into one of the tournament's biggest off-field stories. Instead of the conversation ending with the World Cup itself, it has shifted toward disciplinary hearings, official documents, and questions that will only be answered once FIFA delivers its final decisions. Until then, every claim remains part of an ongoing process, and the football world will be watching closely to see how it unfolds. Now I want to hear your perspective. Do you think FIFA will issue strong sporting sanctions if the allegations are upheld, or do you expect more limited penalties? Share your thoughts in the comments, and let's have a respectful discussion based on the facts as they continue to emerge. If you enjoyed this breakdown and want more in-depth coverage of football's biggest stories, make sure to like the video, subscribe to Matchio, and turn on notifications so you never miss an update. As soon as FIFA announces its final rulings, we'll be here with a complete breakdown of every decision, what it means for the players involved, and how it could affect the future of international football. Thanks for watching, thanks for being part of the Matchio community, and I'll see you in the next video. Until then, take care and peace.